Yeah, dial my number. If you really wanna, if you really wanna, dial my number. If you really wanna, if you really wanna, dial my number. If you really wanna, if you really wanna, dial my number. If you really wanna, if you really wanna, hit me on my phone line. I ain't wasting no time. Get that hash by the pound sign. I think your ass got a pound sign. Oh my.
What is going on, everybody? It's Alex back with another video.
What is going on, everybody? It's TUF here, back with another video.
Today I want to talk about the PlayStation 5 because apparently some of the specs got talked about.
Ah yes, the PS5 specs. Personally, I don't trust specs given out by consoles until they're actually released and people get their hands on them to see what is actually inside. Because consoles have a habit of lying to their consumers and making out that their consoles will be so much better, building up hype, and then letting their fans down as per usual.
And if these rumors are true, then the PS5 will be a beast of a system.
The problem with this is that the PS5 hasn't been released yet. They may, quote-unquote, change their minds or, quote-unquote, get new ideas and use, let's be honest here, worse things inside of their console. Sure, they could have better things when it comes out. You never know. I'm just saying that if you think about their past decisions, it's not very likely that these specs will be what is actually in the console.
So all of this information is coming from an interview that Wired did with Mark Cerny, who is PlayStation's lead architect. And as always, I'll have the link to the article down below so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But basically in this interview, we got a lot of information on what was going to be inside of the PlayStation 5. When it comes to consoles as well as PCs, there are two major hardware components that really determine how powerful the system is. Although there are other parts that actually affect it as well, the main two components that really affect it are the CPU and the GPU. When it comes to the CPU, apparently it's going to be using a custom variant of Radeon's 7nm AMD Zen 2 architecture. This is brand new technology that honestly I did not expect to see in a console.
I'm not sure if this is out of ignorance or you are deliberately wording this in such a way to mislead your fans into thinking the PS5 is some technical masterpiece, but despite the CPU being quote-unquote custom, that does not mean it is the best of its generation. It is not brand new technology, it is the same technology, just specialized for the console. 8 cores have been a thing for a very long time, and they didn't even give out the speed of the processor. The CPU could have 8 cores, but if each core only has 1.5 gigahertz of speed, the 8 cores aren't going to change much. My CPU has 8 cores, it is a Ryzen 7 1700X, its base clock is 3.4 GHz with a boost clock of 3.8 GHz. And sure, the PS5 may have a very fast processor, it may be 4 GHz, 5 GHz, but we need to keep in mind the price of this new console. If the console is too expensive, nobody is going to buy it. So let's say $400 to $500 is the maximum price of this console, because anything more people will probably not want to invest into the console. $400 to $500 is not going to get you a 8-core processor with a fast clock speed as well as everything else inside of the console.
One of the major arguments against consoles is that they use outdated technology. In console generations in the past, if you were to buy a brand new console, really the hardware that you were purchasing in it has already been in the PC market for the past few years.
Yes, and there is nothing to back up the claim that this is going to be repeated. PC will always be ahead of consoles because PC is constantly changing, graphics cards are coming out as well as processors. Consoles only get new versions every couple of years. So unless Sony and Microsoft decide to let you change the parts of your console, like PCs, consoles are never going to be ahead of the PC market.
When it comes to PC gamers and especially elitists, it's kind of a joke.
Yes, it is a joke. The original Xbox One and the PS4 were ridiculously underpowered. Some games were playing at 720p 30 FPS. That's just embarrassing.
But it looks like with at least the new PlayStation 5, they're going to be packing some really modern technology. Also, it is confirmed that it's going to be 8 cores. This means that the console will have absolutely no issues playing any game you want and have it look beautiful for a very long time.
But we don't know this. All we know about the CPU is that it is an 8-core processor. That's all we know about it. 8 cores have been out for ages. There are processors with 16 cores, as well as 32-core processors. Sure, the 32 cores are very modern and expensive, but they are there if you want to buy them. And the 8-core processor is more of a standard nowadays. I would say I have a mid-range PC. I have a GTX 1080 6GB from Zotac. It's a mini. I have a Ryzen 7 1700X. I would call this a mid-range PC, and I have an 8-core processor. And sure, if the PS5 is as good as a mid-range PC, that would be amazing. I want the PS5 to be good. It's just better for the consumer. But if we go overhyping, pretending that this PS5 will be better than any PC available, we're just lying to ourselves and setting ourselves up for disappointment. The thing is, with 8 cores, it does not necessarily mean that the consoles will be able to play better because of it. Sure, consoles are optimized, so hopefully developers will be able to use all 8 cores at once in their games to make them run as well as possible. Hopefully 60 FPS will finally be a norm. But the issue, once again, we don't know if the developers will want to do that, because it may be a lot more effort than it's worth. Third-party games may not want to bother with catering towards 8 cores when every other platform they just use 1 core or 2 cores. As well as we don't know the clock speed of the processor, so we can't just assume that 8 cores will make a big difference, because if all 8 cores are weak, the cores don't really mean much. Also, an issue with this is that processors aren't as big of an impact on the consoles or a PC as the graphics card is. The GPU is the most important part of a computer when it comes to gaming. Most people who know a lot about computers recommend that you put more money into your GPU than a beefy CPU.
But also, this actually opens up the opportunity for more things. For those of you that don't know, both the Xbox and the PlayStation allow you to stream from your console to YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, whatever platform you choose.
Yes, I do like that they support this. I like that people can live stream from their consoles without a capture card or a PC to do it for them. But PCs can also live stream, and we also have more options. We can choose bitrate, we can change the audio, we can use any microphone, we can do PC games and console games, assuming we have a capture card.
Although it works and you don't have to have any additional equipment, it's not necessarily the best, and you're not really going to be able to render all this because you're really struggling in performance. With an 8-core processor, you will easily be able to stream, so there's going to be many tasks that you wouldn't be able to do in past-gen consoles.
And this is the issue. If this is correct and 8 cores will help with streaming, all 8 cores can't be used for the games. You literally contradicted yourself.
Now, we didn't get a lot of information on the GPU.
I wonder why.
But we do know that it's also an AMD card, and it's going to be coming from the Navi line, which is also very modern.
But modern does not necessarily mean powerful. There are still mid-range to low-end GPUs and CPUs coming out every now and then in the modern day, because AMD, Nvidia, Intel, they know that people don't necessarily want to spend thousands of dollars, pounds, euros, whatever, on the top-of-the-line GPUs or processors. So they make more mid-range and low-range processors. So modern does not necessarily mean powerful.
So it looks like the days of consoles using outdated hardware is over.
But we don't know this. We can't say for sure that the PS5 will eliminate the stereotype of consoles being severely underpowered because it hasn't been released yet. I mean, even when it is released, the PS5 will be the standard for years. So after those years, it will become less and less powerful, assuming it's powerful to begin with. We also need to define what powerful is here. I would say my PC is powerful. I would say a GTX 1060 running games at 1080p 144 FPS at medium to high settings is powerful. But some people would say that isn't powerful, and they would say guards that can play games at ultra 4K 60 FPS is powerful, or 1440p 144Hz at medium to high settings. It's a perspective opinion. Some people could say that the original Xbox One is powerful. But anyone who does knows nothing. I'm sorry, but they know nothing.
Although storage isn't going to add any FPS or make games look any better, it really is a quality of life improvement. The faster the storage you have, the more seamless the experience is going to be all around. Well, apparently in the PS5, they will have an SSD as the storage unit.
I'm a huge fan of this. I'm glad that the PS5 will apparently have an SSD as their storage device. There are different speeds of SSD just as there are hard drives, so it may be a bad SSD, it may not be very fast, or it could be one of the best on the market, we never know. We also don't know how much storage it is going to have, because we need to remember, as time goes on, games get bigger. So if the SSD is less than 500 gigabytes, or even less than a terabyte, you're going to have trouble downloading games without using an external hard drive, just to keep all your games in your library.
They're actually claiming that the SSD that's in the PS5 will actually have more bandwidth than anything available for PC. Cerny is even claiming that when they tested it, it took around 0.8 seconds to fast travel in Spider-Man compared to the 15 seconds it took on the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yes, they may be saying that, but have they proven it? Has the PS5 been released so we can see? No, it hasn't. And I doubt the SSD in the PS5 will be better than anything on the market. And we need to remember the PS5 hasn't been released yet. Sure, it might have the fastest SSD now, but by the time it's released, will it still be the fastest SSD on the market? I know it's not the most modern console, so it isn't very fair, but my dad's Xbox One, the original, takes forever to load anything. I watched him play Just Cause 4 the other day, and it took minutes to load. Minutes! It's insane.
That is obviously a huge deal. Honestly, that's the first thing I noticed. I am primarily a PC gamer, but I also have an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4. The primary storage device on my PC is an SSD, so everything runs and boots very quickly. When I move over to one of my consoles, that's the first thing I notice. It is so slow and so sluggish.
I can agree with this. I personally do not have an SSD. I do plan on buying one at some point, maybe just a small one for Windows, but my hard drive is very fast. My PC build is in the description if you want to check it out. My hard drive is there with the speed. But the first thing you notice moving to consoles is the loading speed. Really? Not the terrible controls, the awful graphics, the paid online. Don't get me wrong, I believe you that you're a PC gamer. You seem very informed, you seem very skeptical, and I like that. You are clearly not a console fanboy, which I am appreciative for.
But with the SSD in the new console, it's going to be incredibly quick. Apparently, even quicker than anything you would get on a PC.
Yes, the console that will be out, God knows when, it has a faster SSD than today's PCs. Ah, good job, Sony. Good job. I'm so jealous.
So I'm a little skeptical about this one, but apparently the PS5 will support 8K resolution.
I'm also skeptical about this. And if they did, it would be kind of a waste of time and money, because most people don't have 8K TVs. Hell, I don't even have a 4K TV. We have a 1080p one, and it does the job. 1080p looks fine. But 8K TVs, the cheapest one I can find online was £8,000, and not many people are going to go out and buy an £8,000 TV just to play their PlayStation game slightly better.
Now, I'm not exactly sure what it means by them supporting 8K resolution, but I assume that doesn't mean we're going to be playing games in a native 8K resolution.
Okay, yes, things that you say like this are comforting to me, that you know what you're talking about. You understand how much power and resources are needed to play games at native 8K resolution. And I believe, and many other people believe, that what Sony means by this, if they're telling the truth once again, that they are wanting to support 8K media, such as Netflix or Blu-ray. I believe that is what they're saying, because 8K gaming is not something that barely anyone does. Not many people are playing games at 8K right now. It is the very, very small minority.
As of right now, we are just getting to the point where a solid PC can play in 4K smoothly.
Yes, but what is a solid PC? Is my PC solid? I don't know if it can play 4K. I don't have a 4K monitor, so I can't test it. I don't have a 4K TV, I can't even plug into that.
I strongly believe, guys, like, PCs do not belong in the living room.
I just kind of have to guess if my PC can play at 4K. I can play 1080p, 144 FPS on most games at medium to high settings. So I assume I could play games at 4K, 30 to 60 FPS at low settings. So does that mean my build is good enough? What are the requirements here? Does it need to be 4K Ultra? Does it need to be 4K Medium, 4K High, 60 FPS, 30 FPS?
But even entry-level PCs at this point aren't going to be able to play most games in 4K at a solid frame rate.
Yes, but what are entry-level PCs? My PC is entry. This PC I built, I haven't upgraded it or anything. It's an entry PC, but I'm pretty sure I can play 4K games on it.
I find it very hard to believe they would ship a console at a reasonable price that could even come close to playing at 8K.
I agree. I'm willing to bet money that they will not be playing barely any games in 8K, if at all. Maybe Minecraft will be in 8K. That's probably going to be it. I don't think 8K should be the norm at the moment. Going from 1080p to 8K being the norm is just not going to happen. Last gen, the original PS4 and Xbox One were playing some games at 720p. We should not be shooting for 4K. Hell, I think it would be good if consoles were playing games at 1080p or 1440p 60 FPS. I think that would be fine with decent settings. I would rather see... I'm not sure about most consumers, but I would rather have a console that plays games at 1080p or 1440p, 60 FPS with medium to high settings, rather than 4K or 8K, low to medium settings with 30 FPS. Then again, I do prefer FPS over anything else. One of the main reasons why I got into PC gaming was because 144 FPS just looks amazing. Sometimes for fun, I will just go into my settings on a game I'm playing, change the FPS to 30, and I'll laugh at how awful it is.
And in addition to that, I don't think there's any commercially available monitors or TVs that even display in 8K.
There are TVs that support 8K, as well as monitors. The cheapest one I can find, however, is thousands of pounds. And not many people are going to be willing to pay that price. Some of them that I saw were £15,000 to £20,000. That is a lot of money just for a TV. Think of the beast PC you could buy with that. That's like a 2080 Ti SLI build right there.
I know there's some prototypes and things of this sort, but I don't think there's anything commercially available. As of right now, the standard resolution is still 1080p. Although we are quickly approaching the standard moving straight to 4K, we are nowhere near 8K being the standard.
Yes, as I said, the standard resolution is still 1080p, and I believe it will stay 1080p for a long time. Perhaps 1440p will take over one day, but I doubt 4K and 8K will be the norm anytime soon. I just think that most people would prefer to have higher settings, higher FPS rather than a higher resolution. While I disagree that 4K is starting to become the standard, I will agree that we are far, far, far away from 8K. Technology is moving faster and faster, but I doubt 8K gaming will be something that most people will do for years and years and years. Sure, some people will, if they have extremely good computers and 8K monitors. Sure, they will be playing at 8K, happily. Why not? They can do what they want, they're PC gamers. That's why most of us are PC gamers, so we can do what we want.
So again, I feel like if they start marketing 8K, there's gonna be some kind of catch, some kind of caveat, because there's just no way that it's gonna be producing that much power.
I agree, 8K... I doubt any games are going to be 8K other than maybe low-end games like Minecraft, which can run on anything. I don't see any games running at even upscaled 8K, let alone native. I just don't think that's a possibility unless the console is really expensive. And if it is, it won't get many sales because people won't be willing to spend more than $400 to $500 on a console. So at that point, you might as well get a PC, let's be real here.
Something that should come as no surprise, but is definitely nice to hear, is that it is confirmed that the PS5 will be backwards compatible with all PS4 games. This means that just by buying the new console and getting rid of your old console, you won't have to get rid of all your games, you will be able to continue playing them. Like I said, I think this is relieving for everyone to actually hear.
Yes, I like this. I like that backwards compatibility is finally being more of a thing when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation, because it's kind of here and there as it goes. You know, some games are, some games aren't, but it runs like this, it does that, there aren't much improvements. It's kind of awkward how it works sometimes, but backwards compatibility is something that I'm definitely okay with. It would be great if it was more than backwards compatibility with multiple stages, like you could play PS3 games or PS2 games on the PS5. That would be amazing. I doubt it will happen, but that kind of freedom is something that you only get on the PC, and if it was on consoles, that would be great. I'll be completely fine with that. Do many people get rid of their old consoles though? I don't think many people do. I guess they might, because they can sell their console, then put that money towards a new one, but all of my console player friends, they keep their consoles just because. I guess maybe with backwards compatibility they'll be more likely to sell it because there's not much point in keeping it, but I don't know. They might want to keep their PS4 to play with their friends who are still on PS4 maybe, because that's what happens. Like on my Xbox 360, after the Xbox One came out, I stayed on my 360 for a while and then I moved to PC. But I stayed on the 360, even though my dad had an Xbox One, I mainly played on the 360 because most of my friends were on the 360.
Also, the PlayStation 5 will contain a disc tray. Even though Xbox seems to be getting rid of it with their newest model, it looks like PlayStation will still have it.
Okay, can we not get started with the Xbox One removing the disc tray? That's one of the most retarded things I think Microsoft has done in a long time. People opened up the Xbox SAD, and like it's basically an empty space where the disc tray was. It wasn't removed to make more room for better components or anything. It's the exact same console basically, minus the disc tray, yet it costs more.
And for those of you that are into VR, it will be compatible with the current PSVR model.
Let's just hope it runs VR a lot better than the PS4 did, because playing VR games at less than 80 FPS normally makes you feel sick. Just saying.
So interestingly enough, Cerny didn't actually call it the PlayStation 5 or provide an actual code name. My guess is this is just because it hasn't been officially confirmed by Sony.
Yes, that's why we can't be getting hyped. Nothing has been confirmed by Sony yet. Nothing. We can't start assuming things just because one person who works at Sony says so. It's not something we should be trusting or relying on, because things change. People can lie, they can change their mind, they can scrap ideas. They may realise that it's costing too much or too little and change components to work around a better price point.
So we didn't want to mention anything, but let's be honest, it's going to be called the PlayStation 5. He also confirmed that it would not be coming out in 2019, which should come as no surprise to everyone.
Yes, exactly. It won't be out in 2019, so even if the SSD is more powerful than today's hardware, it just gives us more time to get better parts than what the PS5 has. And that's assuming that they do have better parts than us. Because let's be honest here, it probably doesn't. There are a lot of really, really good PC parts.
Everyone is pretty much convinced that they're going to be announcing the consoles, the new PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox in 2019, and that they will both be released in 2020.
Console gamers better hope so, because the PlayStation has been out for coming up 6 years. And it wasn't exactly the most powerful thing in the world to begin with. So...
Coming from someone who already knows that I'm going to be purchasing the PlayStation 5...
Okay, I've been okay with you until now. You saying that you're going to buy the PS5 no matter what. It kind of disgusts me, because it could be an abomination, it could be severely weak, it could be nowhere near as powerful as it's hyped up to be. Buying it when it's released is not smart. If any of you are watching are considering getting the PS5, I would wait until there are reviews, till there are official specs.
A lot of this is actually really exciting to hear. I'm really excited to see that we're going to be getting 8 cores on Zen 2 architecture on our CPU.
8 cores sounds nice, sure, but I think people are overhyping 8 cores, because 8 cores is kind of the norm now. Like my mid-range, I would say PC has 8 cores, it's not exactly something revolutionary. If it was 64 cores or something, I would understand the hype, but 8 cores isn't exactly impressive nowadays. Especially because we don't even know if it's going to have 8 cores.
And we're going to be getting a Navi GPU. Finally, they're going to be shipping a console with an SSD that apparently is insanely fast.
Apparently being the key word.
Although backwards compatibility isn't going to really do anything for me, as I don't really have games on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, the PlayStation 4 library is pretty garbage. Not gonna lie.
I know it's going to be a huge thing for a lot of people. I gotta say, I'm very skeptical in the whole 8K resolution thing, but maybe this console really is capable of 8K resolution.
Yeah, it might be. Who knows? It probably won't be. I'm willing to bet it won't be. But who knows? It might play games at native 8K. In an ideal world, a $400 console will play games at native 8K, sure. If you think that's a possibility, keep dreaming, but it's not gonna happen. I can promise you.
So what do you guys think about all this news? Let me know down in the comments section. But thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for the support. Peace out.
His outro actually really suits what I want to say. Thank you all so much for the support recently. The whole David DeFranco situation has been actually really good for my channel in the kind of long term, like a couple days after the strike. It's been really good for my growth. I've gained 50, 60, 70, I can't remember, subscribers. I've gained so many. 200, 300 views on all 3 videos. It's insane. To all of my Minecraft viewers who used to watch my Minecraft content, it's in a playlist on my channel playlist, but I don't want my videos to be clogged up with Minecraft stuff when I'm doing these kind of videos now. So to my Minecraft fans, go into my playlist. All of my Minecraft videos are there. To all of my newer fans or my old fans that still like my content, thank you for sticking around. Your support is so appreciated. Thank you all for watching. I have been, it's TUF. I love you so much. I won't kiss the mic again, because I don't think any of you really enjoyed that. Because it was kind of weird. But I'll see you all later.